Our final honoree tonight will be inducted by Ricardo Hernandez.
Well, our honoree and I are kind of wondering how you follow that. Anyway, let me start first by, since we're last, by thanking ACA. What an incredible organization, and what an incredible evening. And most of you probably don't know who I am, but I was the director of the Texas Commission on the Arts when I retired in 2007. But I was there for 30 years, so a lot of the stuff that kind of enabled a lot of the stuff that you all get to do got to get done, was done because I was able to sit in that chair and do some fun stuff. I wanna take this moment to thank Mr. Mullen. To thank Mr. Mullen for his courage and for his vision and for his ability to enable everything that you all do and are doing. Enablers matter. Enablers are often behind the scenes. Oftentimes, you'll never know who they are, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You'll never know who they are, but at some point or at some juncture, you may wonder and just thank them, whoever they may be. I got this opportunity because Janet Seibert, who I'm about to introduce, she said to me this afternoon something about that she had kind of reversed what the evening was supposed to be, and that rather than being introduced by a mentee, she wanted to be introduced by a mentor. Well, the funny thing about that is that I always thought she was my mentor. I was the mentee. Anyway, Janet. First came to know her as an artist. I didn't actually know her, but I watched the work that she did. I looked at the work she did. I admired the work she did as a public artist, not just in the city of Austin, but in Texas and around the country. She's done wonderful things in that regard. I'm going to read some of the things that she's done in Austin, Texas, because it really matters. She was the co-chair of the City of Austin funding program review panel for about 3 years. She helped to author the Arts and Public Places Ordinance in Austin, Texas. And let me tell you why that matters. The state of Texas, since the late 60s, has had a permissive ordinance that allowed people to use funds from construction projects and the like for the sake of public art. A permissive ordinance means you could do it. We discovered, and I was very much a part of this with Janet way back when, is that the only way we were ever going to make this really happen was that if we did it at the municipal level. Because the state of Texas was never going to step up to the plate. Right? So Bruce and Janet and Annette Corlozzi and the late, wonderful, incredible angel Rita Star Pattern and I were able to get together, and a few other folks, and write the first Art and Public Places Ordinance for the state of Texas. Prior to that time, the only two groups that had ever used the permissive Art and Places Ordinance were the University of Houston. And if you've ever been there, that's why they have that incredible public art collection. Yeah. The second one, and most of you have never even seen this, was the library at UTEP in El Paso, Texas. Nobody else ever used it, and that was the reason that it was important for us to step up to the plate and do that thing. The next opportunity I got to work with Janet Seibert was when, in fact, Jackie Goodman city councilman came up to me and she said, Rick, I want you to be on this panel, and Bruce is going to be on it, and Janet's going to be on it, and so. And what I want you to do is to make sure that the nature and character of Austin, Texas is reflected in the new airport. Now, you know, I think when we first had that conversation, we were thinking we were going to put it in Maynard. Well, guess what? It's not in Maynard anymore. Shortly after that experience, I was having, I think it was probably drinks, not dinner, with Jackie. And she said, well, how are we going to make all this happen? And I said, what you're going to do is you're going to find a way to give Janet Seibert a job at the city. And she's going to be the one who makes that program happen at the airport so that our visitors and our guests will come and understand what it is that this place, Austin, Texas, is all about. Jackie Goodman said, okay. And she went about the process of finding a job for Janet in the city so that, in fact, we could make that happen. From that, it's on and on and on and on. Just about every important urban design, economic development, anything that happens to happen with the arts is there because this lady, very silently, but very meticulously, paid attention. And she did all of the work that was required to make all of that happen. Janet Seibert is one of our angels. And whether we know it or not, whether we've met her or not, or whether we've ever seen her at work, doesn't really matter. What you need to know is that she was always there. She was always solid, always solid. And most of everything that we're doing today that is of great consequence is there because she had a vision. She had the spirit to do it. She is an artist first. An artist first. You know, in 1970, in the 78, 79 school year, I was still an artist in residence. I wasn't part of the staff of the Texas Commission on the Arts. And I built a pyramid in South Texas and did a 100-year time capsule of a very small town that was primarily Hispanic, but had been a Czech community over the years. And so I did this 100-year time capsule and did that. Well, it kind of catapulted me into national and international world and you know, gave me a lot of opportunity. The reason was because somebody said that that was the perfect example of cultural animation, which was an exercise that they had kind of done in England where when cities became more populated, they would move populations, but in the planning process, they always had an artist central to the planning process. And the consequence of that would be that the outcome would be profound. Well, I'm here to tell you that Janet is that artist who has been central to almost everything we've done in this city to enable the arts to grow and flourish and to be the city that it is today. And if she hadn't been here, it probably wouldn't have happened. Janet Seibert.
To walk away right now. I don't know what to do with that. Especially when you hear my speech here. You know, I have been so into doing the work that I forgot that time has marched around me. And it keeps on going. And so I sat up and I realized that 19 years have passed with the city, and that Rick and I have known each other for 30 years. When the big 30-year anniversary for Art in Public Places is on, and Megan Wells knows this well, that I was a part of that. And Rick was a part of that, and there were a lot of other people that were a part of that. And it's just amazing that I've woken up and all of a sudden all this time has passed. And we were just youngsters, let me just say that. We were youngsters when we did that, right, Rick? I mean, both of us have white hair now, and so that kind of talks about the time that has marched along. And as I march towards the end of my time with the city, because I am getting ready to leave the city, I'm not going to leave the city of Austin, I'm talking about leaving employment with the city. I never thought I would make it with 2 years, and here it is 19 years later. And early on, you know, people would ask me, because they knew me as an artist, they would ask me, don't you miss doing your artwork? Or they'd say, are you still doing art? Or they'd say, what kind of art are you doing now? And I realized that I have a confession to make to you all. And Rick actually kind of let the cat out of the bag. I am an artist first. Truly, I am an artist. I never stopped being an artist. I approached working with the city as an artist, and I came to understand my work with the city as an artist in resident. In fact, the city, while there's a lot of hindrances with working for the city, it also opened up possibilities for me in ways that I could never have imagined. In fact, instead of, well, the city has become my canvas. People, the city staff, and community are my collaborators. And the policies, studies, the writing, even the data. I mean, those people that know that I'm sometimes a little bit of a data freak. That is my media, and that is those are my tools. It's the paint, the clay, and even place itself as a media. So I've recognized that I've been doing this for 19 years, and what I've come to realize is that I'm not only an artist, but I'm a citizen artist. And those of you who know what that hybrid is, what that combination is, can really understand. So now people are asking me, well, what are you going to do when you leave the city? Well, first of all, let me tell you, I'm going to take a long break. I'm going to sleep a lot. I'm going to garden a lot. That is a passion, and I certainly have learned a lot in gardening. The idea of tilling the soil, putting seeds in the soil, nurturing those seeds, and seeing what comes out. And I want to tell you that I picked up an Americans for the Arts e-newsletter today, and there was an article in there about forecast public art. And you all know that our world as artists and as human beings have been turned upside down by the election that occurred last week. So I want you to know that, so forecast is saying art has the power to heal, has the power to disrupt, has the power to bring beauty, has the power to expose injustice, has the power to build community, and so much more. And so we know that artists are agents of change and have an essential role in our public life. So this is forecast talking. They want to be a part of building collaborative solutions. They want to be a part of opening up dialogues, combating and redefining negative narratives, shaping our shared environment for all people, and influencing positive change. And so what I ask is that each one of you stand with me and say, yes, we are going to do that. We are artists, we know how to work in the community, and we can do the job that we're being asked to do now. I think this is the end, and I think that's a big one.